Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And this week, all the news you can use is coming out of American Express land. Last week we touched on it. We had the rumors of the gold card refresh, and it was imminent, but it came probably a lot faster than we thought. And now it is here. So we have, of course, the fee hike, we have the new benefits, and we have the new colorway. So we'll break it all down, as well as the offers we're seeing, some strategies you may want to consider, and my overall thoughts. Some of us disagreed last week. I don't think it'll get any better this week, but debate is fun, isn't it? So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, again, we had the rumors, you've probably seen them, but let's get into it here, not wasting any time. We will take a look at the gold card, the new look personal gold card, have it on screen for you, and here's what we're dealing with. You have the classic gold I left on there, but we'll show the colors in a second. You're going from the $250 annual fee to a $325 annual fee. Multipliers, you're keeping the same multipliers, your 4x back on supermarkets. You are, however, getting a cap on restaurant spend, 50 grand a year, and you still have that flights multiplier, which I don't think many people actually use often. So you've got that. And then if you go down to the credits, which is what we knew Amex was going to focus on, you have the same $120 dining credit at $10 a month. This time they're just switching out the partners. You have Five Guys in for Shake Shack and Milk Bar, basically the same thing. $120 Uber Cash remains unchanged. You pick up the $100 Resi credit, $50 semi-annually. Of course, the funniest one, Dunkin' Donuts is pitching in for $84 a year, which works out to be $7 a month, and of course, there's still no foreign transaction fees. Now, on to the color schemes. Of course, you have the classic gold, you have the rose gold, which was the original limited edition one, then it was limited, then they killed it in limited form, then they brought it back as a staple of the lineup, and of course, you have the new white gold color variant as well. Now, for the colors, I do think the color is a smart idea. You can go in today and anytime really and request a new card, and there's an option in there that says change design. I actually, funny enough, forgot that I have the business gold card. So I did request a white gold one. We'll probably never use it, but I don't know. It's just fun to have. I mean, why not get the new colorway and just have it? But, I think the color will generate some more interest in it. Now, it does say while supplies last. So, if you want one, I say just get one, and then you can always switch back to the gold if you hate it for some reason. I know there are strong opinions about the color of the Amex gold. The rose is more pink than anything else, so I'll give that to you. But overall, there you have it. So, it is a few things of note. Sometimes it is interesting because American Express has in the past with certain products given us a heads up that the refresh is coming. The Delta line. Years ago when I got my Delta Platinum, they hiked the offer to I think 100,000 miles plus a credit or something, and then they said, hey, the refresh and the fee hike is coming in a month. They do that sometimes, but other times they don't. This is one time they didn't. It was mentioned in an earnings call. They said in the coming weeks, and then it happened to be like a week later, and then the card was here. So the basic intro offer that you have right now, I think is 60,000 points out there, and like up to $100 back on restaurants, so like 10% back, as you spend up to like $100. There's word out there of like if you go through Card Match, you can find much higher offers. I think I've seen 100 maybe. As the top end, you got to look, but I've seen them. So it's worth probably just kind of going through Card Match or something like that and seeing if you can find them. I haven't seen like on the website or a link or anything like that. But again, you guys know how Card Match works by now. I don't get anything for you going through Card Match. Just that's what we're seeing as well as offers. And of course, like most things, I think the 100K would be good. The 60 is, I don't know, just feels kind of weak given that, it's a refresh, it's a fee hike. And we've seen higher on, I feel like we've seen higher on all the other cards. So sure, 60 is still not bad, but 100 obviously by math standards is better. So overall thoughts here on the card itself. Well, I'm generally in the mindset of I don't know, how upset am I supposed to be? Because I feel like when you deal with American Express, you know what you're getting into, and they've landed on a great strategy for them, which is very clearly, we're going to raise the fee, but we're going to say we're providing you value by offering you credits or coupons, and by math, they end up winning because, yes, I raised the fee $75, but the Dunkin' credit alone is $84, and I gave you 2 credits, so you don't have to use one of them if you don't want to, and you're still in the black, so to speak. but of course people don't want that here. But I think if the card worked for you before, there's a strong likelihood that it still works for you now. I think the Dunkin's easy enough to use. It's not something that I mean, if you brought donuts, if you go into work and there are donuts, I'm happy to eat one or two of them. Have I gone to Dunkin' on my own? Like, not often, not for donuts. Like, if you need breakfast sometimes, sure, but like, I don't know, it doesn't happen. $7 is also a weird number. You would have thought it'd be 10, but I figure, how much are donuts really? I have no idea. They can't be that much. If I give you $10, it's entirely possible you're not going to buy anything. I have seen some Reddit threads of folks saying, hey, you can actually reload your Dunkin' balance in the app. We'll see if that counts. I gotta imagine one or two will get through, and then they'll quickly shut that down. Would be my guess. But I mean, for right now, that seems to be an option there. Resi is gonna be hit or miss depending on where you live, and I think that's really where we come into like the crux of it. Is that Amex does these refreshes periodically. We know what we're gonna get, and if you're looking at it and you're like, hey, well, Resi isn't in my neighborhood or anything, well, that means they probably don't value you as a customer, and you're not really who they're going after, right? Dunkin', I mean, we could read too much into it and say maybe that's more of a northeast. I feel like I see them more over here on the northeast than anywhere else. I haven't been everywhere, but maybe they're targeting more people like that. Maybe it's simply as simple as like, hey, Dunkin' Donuts reached out and they want customer acquisition this way. But the Resi deal, I mean, we know American Express definitely has a target audience, and most of us are really not it. So I don't know. Do I like it? No, of course I don't like it because it's more expensive and there's more credits to deal with. That's not really my thing, but that's why I tend to not try to deal with American Express. I just feel like I'm personally over ranting and raving because we know what we get. And that was kind of my point last week. Like, this really shouldn't surprise us. And I can't be outraged when I know what they're going to do. It's like tuning into this show and then surprise, I'm wearing a black shirt. Like, you knew what was going to happen, right? We've been at this long enough. So that's kind of my overall thought. But I do think if the card worked for you before, there's a good chance that it works for you now. I do think the interesting play now is that it does make the business gold, again, which I have coming soon in white gold, look a little bit more appealing to certain people because we put it on screen. This might be the play for some. I know I talked to a friend of the channel in the comments who had put some serious spend on Amex Gold for the dining credit, and that cap is actually going to hurt him. So just for a few bucks more, race for $50 more, you get earned 4x on the top two categories each month, up to 115 combined spend a year, and that does bring in, you have restaurants, which is basically dining, it's like the same thing, right? So if you were that heavy of a spend, and that also could be, I think this is by design as well. They say, hey, if you're doing more than 50, we probably want to push you up to the business version of it. Get another business customer, maybe start selling stuff, things like that. But if you're literally doing that much spend on it, then you might be better served with the business card, especially if you're into Walmart Plus. I mean, that's not a terrible membership to have. I don't have it. I do have the business gold again. That monthly $20 credit, I mean, I just don't use it personally because, again, the credits just annoy me. I was using it for Grubhub, but I don't know. It really bothers me, so I wasn't using it. But you could make the argument now that the business gold is actually the better one, given what it has for $50 more if you're a big spender. I think that's actually the most interesting part of this refresh. It kind of makes you look at the business gold. Where before, I kind of thought the business gold was a little bit overpriced, especially when they had taken shipping away from it. That was the main nerfing. When the business gold got its refresh, they pulled shipping. That kind of hurt because there really wasn't that many cards that focused on shipping, which kind of tells us they were losing their shirt on shipping. So I would also consider that for the right person, but you really got to do some calculus on that to make sure you're actually spending enough to make that $50 worth it. Or if you just like the credits better, then I think you could also, make the jump there. Again, I think the credits are probably a little bit easier to use on the business side. I would say that for the business platinum and for the business gold, actually. So something to consider. So as far as the keep cancel thing, I mean, I'd sit down and really think about it. And, I think we play around with the effective annual fee game a lot. It's one of the arguments I hate the most. I mean, I'd say how good was it working for you before? And then what is this now? Like if you're never using Resi ever, that I'd look at it and price out some things. The Dunkin' deal is kind of like, how annoying is it? For me, it would actually greatly annoy me, which I understand it sounds weird, like just go spend $7, but I would just be going out of my way. That's kind of how the Grubhub thing got me. I was just going out of my way to use it. So even though I have the card for the remainder of the year, like I don't even care to use it, right? It's bothered me that much. But again, that's why I don't really mess around with American Express. And that's kind of why I kind of have a meh attitude towards the overall refresh. I don't think it's terrible in the realm of American Express. I think it could have been a lot worse. It also could have been a lot better, but it was never going to be better, right? So we're just kind of lucky that it wasn't as bad. So, I mean, this is kind of like a non-argument, but to me, it's kind of my final point is kind of like, what you get. Is the card still worth it in year one to grab an intro offer? Sure. I think it had to change because this is probably American Express's loss leader card because the multipliers are so easy. Everyone eats in some fashion. The cap, again, does suck for some people. I don't think it's going to hurt many people as they think. It's just kind of, seeing the cap. And once again, you give me these credits and I don't have anything in exchange, which is kind of annoying. So that part I understand greatly. But anyways, that was the overall story of the week. So that's what we have, the new American Express Gold card. Again, I think definitely take a look at the business card as well as you're looking keep or cancel. I think it's just run it and see if you can. I think the refresh, the new annual fee for existing card members goes into effect, I think, in the October renewals. So if you're going to renew now or before October, then you've been liking the gold card, well then sure, I think you keep it. And you can see how Dunkin' Donuts fits into your life, I guess, or you could see how long that, refilling your Dunkin' Bounce, because then refilling your Dunkin' Bounce, if that stuck around, then, I know when I used to go to, like, Pittsburgh all the time, like, there was a Dunkin' Donuts around the corner from the office, and that's where we would go for breakfast. They do sell, like, breakfast food, like sandwiches and stuff, as well as donuts and things. And so if I was still doing that, I could just load it up and then go and use it. Then, okay, that's actually full value redemption, but, we just got to see. Well, time will tell. I'm going to guess rewards abuse will be quick to jump in. Probably because Dunkin' also doesn't want their dollars spent that way, right? Because that's not what they're paying for. But all this has been covered. So again, if you can renew at the original $250, I think keep it. If it's, you're after that October date, well, then we'll have enough data points out there. You could also hang back and see how many cancellations they get. Do they start throwing out some retention offers as well? That could be helpful to take a look at as well. We don't know. We're still really early in it, and I don't know if they know how people are going to respond yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So maybe we'll do a check back in a few months to see what the data points on Reddit and folks are reporting in. But overall, there is your new look American Express Gold card. I have a white gold card coming in the mail, which sounds very hypocritical. But I don't care yet. I have all these cards. I'm not keeping them though. They were just for intro offers, and they'll be done by next January, I think. So, of course, let me know down below. I don't think I changed anyone's mind on my opinion of the gold card. I don't know. It's just really hard for me to get fired up at this point, knowing what we get from these guys. So let me know down below if you agree, disagree, what your move is for the gold card. Did you get the white gold card, personal, business gold? Which one is better? Now, I'd love to get your thoughts on all of it. Anyways, guys, asking to do it for this one. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. You can consider, if you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. Of course, right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com, the channel's blog, which is always linked down below for you, and on the channel homepage. We not only have the latest news stories just like this, bank promotions. I don't know if we have anything from American Express, but we do have credit card offers from Amex. If you just want it, you want the $60K plus that 10% deal, we have that one as well. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon this week.